You're welcome, and the joy of celebrating this Christmas. Merry Christmas to you. I don't know whether I have come to the end of the year or I have come to begin life anew. I am torn between the two. But all in all, thank you very much, Reverend. Esther, my wife, has indicated her joy and our joy for your welcoming us as part of the community that lives around this congregation. And it is our joy, even as I say, beginning life anew, even at his old age. I want to thank God for what has continued to be the guiding light and theme in our reflections, bearing fruits that will last. And our prayer is that yale matunda ambayo tumezaa mwaka huu, ijapokuwa kumekuwa na shida, yatazidi kudumu, kwa maana ni katika mwongozo na neema ya Bwana katika maisha yetu. Just in case you are visiting us this time, my name is Julius, serving as one among you in this church, and I love the Lord as my personal Savior. I will read a few verses from the book of Hebrews and then share the thoughts I have for this day as we close the year. Hebrews chapter 1, beginning from verse 1. In the past, God spoke to our ancestors through the prophets many times and in various ways. But these last days he has spoken to us by his Son, whom he appointed heir of all things, and through whom also he made the universe. The Son is the radiance of God's glory, and the exact representation of his being, sustaining all things by his powerful word. After he had provided purification for sins, he sat down at the right hand of the Majesty in heaven. So he became as much superior to the angels as the name he has inherited is superior to theirs. Shall we pray? Heavenly Father, minister to our hearts even as we reflect on the eternal ones. This we ask through Christ our Lord. Amen. We read from the book of Prophet Isaiah, chapter 9, verse 1, and then following. And I want to share a few thoughts, even as I touch Isaiah chapter 8, in particular, verse 18, where Isaiah says, "Here am I and the children the Lord has given me. We are signs and symbols in Israel from the Lord Almighty, who dwells on Mount Zion." Utili umwega motoleine uyo tuli tamulo kwemenya na gutaukirwo ni gitumi giake kia haria ari noria areka. Self-awareness and that interpretation or understanding of the identity is critical in who we are in our lives. Isaiah summarizes that in verse 18. In telling the world, "Here I am, and the children the Lord whom he has given to me. We are signs and symbols in Israel." Ateo nikimenyithia kia naiguru na kiria kingioneka na nikionereria kuma kuri Ngai kuri ruriri rwa Israeli na aria maturaga Mount Zion. When you read in the beginning of chapter 8 from verse 1, you get to know the names and the meaning of the names that Isaiah gave to the children. But even as he continues to identify himself and say the reasons why he is a sign and a symbol in Israel, he then touches a nerve from verse 19, in which case he describes how people search for meaning and understanding in this world. The search for meaning and identity crowds our lives and in who we are. And Isaiah touches that even as he says, some search for meaning and identity through consulting mediums and spirits. Some consult even the dead. Some seek meaning in various ways. And this is who we are as a people. But having spoken about the search for meaning and significance and the many ways in which humanity attempts to do so, then in his element as a prophet speaks in chapter 9, where he says, "Nevertheless, for those who are in darkness over who they are and why they are where they are, for those who are in darkness over the situations of their own lives, there are good news from the Lord." He says there will be no more gloom or doom. There is no distress for such that seeks the Lord in their lives, because a son is going to be born. This is what he says in verse 6 of chapter 9. Those who have been walking in darkness, those who have been seeking meaning and understanding in their own lives, those who have been seeking to understand their identity and significance in life, those walking in darkness, those who appear as if the fetters of this world has held them, those who feel imprisoned over the situations of their own lives, to us a son is born, to us a son is given. And then he continues to interpret how the son in the midst of humanity, how he transforms their situations, significance, and meaning in life. As we celebrate this last Sunday, or the first Sunday after Christmas, my prayer is that we will continue to know who we are in relationship to our God. And secondly, is that we will not fall prey to seeking meaning and significance in inanimate things when we have God and Jesus Christ as our Emmanuel in our lives. How I pray that even as we continue to see the end of the year, is that we shall seek walking in the light of the Lord, so that this light may continue to guide us in whatever that we are doing and wherever we shall be. And my prayer as well is that the governance of the Son of God in our midst will transform our own lives so that we may conform to the holy will of the Lord, and the government that is anticipated in His being in our midst will not be a pipe dream but a reality of our time. Looking at the book of Hebrews, chapter 1, where I have just read, the writer of the book of Hebrews points to something that is unique for us in whatever that we are attempting to do or who we are. We seek to be understood. We seek to communicate. We seek to be heard. And we seek to be understood in various ways. But then, the writer of the book of Hebrews says, God has done it in His Son. He has given us the medium for communication. He has given us the medium of existence. He has given us the medium of the totality of our lives. For in His Son, the government that is upon His shoulders, the name He has given unto Him is a name far above the angels, superior to any created being in our own lives. But He also summarizes in the manner that God has always attempted to minister to us, even as we seek to be heard or to be understood. And using the words of the psalmist, hearing God's voice and doing as it bids us, he begins this chapter by saying, in the past, God has spoken, or He spoke to our ancestors in various ways. And lastly, in our own days, He has spoken to us through His Son. God desires that you hear Him. God desires that you communicate to Him through His Son. God desires that you interpret your own world via His Son. And that is why He is Emmanuel in our lives. But even as the writer of the book of Hebrews expresses the desire of God in our own lives, he makes a contrast to how the Jewish nation responded to God communicating and giving meaning to their existence. And quoting the words of Psalm 95, he narrates how Israel resisted to be spoken to by God in various ways. And in chapter 2 of the book of Hebrews, he summarizes by laying a warning to the people in the way and manner in which God has spoken unto them. We must pay attention. We must pay the most careful attention, therefore, to what we have heard, so that we do not drift away. The writer of the book of Hebrews summarizes how God has spoken and how many have not heard God in their own lives, and the consequences of their inability to hear God or even communicate to Him and through Him in His Son. And so as we celebrate this last Sunday of the year, my prayer is that we shall pay attention in the many ways that God desires to speak to us, and in the many ways that we seek to be understood or to communicate about ourselves as believers. for our inability to hear God, our inability to receive His Son in our own lives, then leads to various consequences as narrated by the psalmist in Psalm 95 and elsewhere. And so as we come close to the end of the year, perhaps the Mass is a testament of our ability to hear and hear correctly if we choose to actually hear and understand. Wearing the mask is our symbol of protecting ourselves against contracting COVID or even passing it on. How about being obedient to what God is speaking to us through and in His Son, our Lord and Savior? As we look forward to the new year, how I pray that we shall be more diligent in hearing God speak to us and doing that which He ministers to us, even as we take all precautions as far as our health and well-being is concerned. Shall we pray? Mwathani Ngai ithe witũ mwene hinya wothe, tũteithie gũkũigua ona gũkũmenya. Tũteithie Mwathani gũtaũkĩrwo nĩ ũtungata wa Jesũ gatagatĩ-inĩ gaitũ. Na ta ũrĩa thirikari yake ĩtarĩ na mũthia, na wathani ũrĩ ciana-inĩ ciake, ũkamwathani nĩgetha ũtũteithie kũrũgama ona gwĩtĩkia ta ũrĩa maandĩko matwĩrĩte igũrũ rĩa Jesũ, nĩgetha ũtungata wa mwaka mwerũ wonanie andũ marakũigua na megũgwathĩkĩra thĩinĩ wa ũtũũro wao. Ũrĩa tũgeraga nduma-inĩ tũkĩgeria gwetha gũtaũkĩrwo ona kana gũtaũkĩka, Mwathani tũteithie kwamũkĩra Jesũ, nĩ tondũ arĩ thĩinĩ witũ na ithuĩ tũrĩ thĩinĩ wake. Gũtirĩ hĩndĩ kũrĩkoragwo na nduma ũtũũro-inĩ witũ. Tũrathime twamũthaitha nĩ tondũ wee nĩwe Ngai witũ na ithuĩ tũrĩ ciana ciaku. Rĩĩtwa-inĩ rĩa Jesũ twagwetha